Well, good morning, everybody, and welcome to the board meeting for the Red River Rural Fire Protection District, also Jackson County Fire District number 1. As soon as the chief comes back, we'll go ahead and have our Pledge of Allegiance. Please join us in the pledge. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
John Foster.
Here.
Jim Stearns.
Here.
John Ellis.
Here.
Randy Port.
Here.
And Craig Berry.
Here. All righty. Do we have any new items for good of the order that wasn't on the agenda?
I would like to discuss the solar grant. It's a fully paid grant. It's somewhere around $550,000 last year. It's going to be a little bit more this year, most likely what we're going for. It opened again and the short window, but they did expand the window a little bit more. I thought I was going to have to finish the grant writing this month, but I can finish it early next month. I reached out based on our score last time when we weren't awarded the grant. And what I was told was that we needed to work more on community outreach. And that could be as simple as having a meeting here or a meeting at City Hall or, I don't know, sending out flyers, a variety of things just to kind of get more input. I thought we had really good community outreach last time, but we were scored poorly. So I'm going to redraft some of the stuff we did. The chief was able to secure a letter of support from our 911 dispatch, XO, and also from the city also gave us a letter of support. I was able to get a letter of support from the senior center, but I need to know if the board had any suggestions on things that I could also do at this point to kind of push that over the line a little bit and get our numbers back up. This is probably the last time this grant's going to be available. I think they're scuttling to get the money out of that account while it's still there. And I want to get some feedback on what the board, if you guys have any idea of what sounds like a useful thing to do.
Well, it looks to me like the solar companies are in a big push now to try to get the last gasp of the green new scam solar stuff out there before the administration changes rules and laws.
So this is a grant that's 100% funded. So,
But it's funded by who?
it's been, the state legislature took money from the general revenue and put
Which is
taxpayers
in a deficit state.
They took money from taxpayers, and in doing so, they said we're going to spread this around the state. And so there's a map of where this will be the third round of grants, and there's a map of where they've gone. And this part of the state, short of Ashland's gotten a bunch, has gotten nothing. So I think it's time that we're due. Just to kind of get the public online, what this grant would do is it would put a solar array up on the hill, but it also put batteries down here. So if we had a Cascadia type event where we lost power generation, we lost power lines, or maybe wildfires for days or weeks, we would have power. And this is year round. So, and it will also eliminate our current electricity bill, which is somewhere in the range of $16,000-$17,000 that's climbing every year as rates go up. So if you want to get some feedback from the board, I could attend a city council meeting, explain to them what the grant is entailing, maybe try and get a few more letters of support. I could go back to the senior center. We have a disadvantaged community here. That's the main thing they're looking for is do you have a lot of people who are poor or people who are elderly? We have a lot of elderly people here. I think the city is like 55% retired. And I don't know if that really got that across the first time I wrote the grant. I tried, maybe I was a little too wordy. Sometimes I'll do that. I'll throw in too many numbers and just kind of throw a little more empathy into it. But if you guys had any suggestion on that, I'd like to hear it.
Craig, when is the grant paperwork due?
I want to say it's like the 11th, September 11th, somewhere in that range. So
Pretty small window then.
Yeah, it was even smaller. So glad they stretched it out a little bit.
My concern would be, here we are going to go out to the taxpayer. You say it's a no charge, taxpayers aren't going to see anything.
This will be well after that.
I don't think you can actually guarantee that, and it's going to cost the department money. I know you're going to be interfacing, trying to incorporate all the things you have to do to get it going. It's going to take people's time and money. And also you say there's gonna be power available with batteries and everything for free for the people.
No, I didn't say that.
Where can I go and look at a system like that and make a judgment? I've never heard of that or seen it.
Oh, there,
I don't, it's another brand new solar thing, in my opinion.
I think the
It
Talent,
isn't gonna work.
Talent High School has one. You want to go look at the one at Talent High School? There's,
That's a high school. That's not serving an entirely community.
I'm not asking to serve the community. What I'm asking is to provide power for this building. It's power for this building, power for this site. It's not a community solar. It's to keep our 911, but we are an alternate 911 dispatch, keep that operational, and it will remain operational. In that case.
You talked about putting power back on the grid to help the city if there was that was.
No,
That was from your, yeah, you made a statement like that.
What I said is we could offer things like maybe the Foots Creek the fire watch up there. They have a robust fire watch. They have radios. Maybe we would help them charge their radios if that was a problem. You know, maybe they have other needs. Maybe there's people who need home oxygen, you know, and they're gasping for air. Maybe they could come down here and charge. But I didn't say we could put it back on the grid. It's not actually physically possible to put it back on the grid. Once the power goes out, the power stays here. We can't feed the grid. We would have no power instantly. So there's sensors that say, okay, there's no line voltage coming from Pacific Power. Save everything you got. That's how these home systems work. As far as you saying it's going to cost us money, it's 100% funded grant, and we've already done all the work. I've done all the work already. All I have to do basically is update the numbers. And
Wasn't sounding familiar.
Yeah, I've already done all the work.
I hate to prejudge something like that. It would be if you could guarantee that this is what would happen, I would be 100% for it. But I just see it as another Solyndra. I'm sure you remember that. Billions of dollars spent for solar that never went anywhere. And plus the solar thing, those panels, they're discovering, how do you get rid of them? They're hazardous waste. There's so many complications. It just wasn't thought through. I mean, they didn't come up with a gasoline engine.
Okay, I understand. You didn't support this originally, so I understand that. What I'm asking for now is some feedback on obtaining some community and maybe being successful this time.
The other question I have to ask, and again, I've asked it several times, is these companies project this 25-year or 35-year lifespan. The products haven't been around for that long. How do they project a lifespan when something is new?
So you work in concrete, don't you?
I don't work in concrete.
Well, you make a concrete product.
We
Concrete
manufacture.
product. I used to work in concrete too. I used to manufacture concrete product. And these products, one, they have been around for 25 years. They've been around since the Apollo missions. But commercially, they've been around for longer than 25 years. They've been putting these out since the 80s. And how do they do that? Accelerated testing.
Mm-hmm.
And you have a warranty. And if it starts dropping over the course of time, which they do, they're expected to drop to about 88% after 30 years.
Continue.
But if it drops below that and gets off that regression line, you can get the warranty. These are American-made panels. They're gonna be American-made racks. There's potentially, I'm not certain about this because this may have gone away, but potentially there was also here's a rebate for money you didn't spend. There's potentially that. Well, which last time it was $220,000. But that we'd be flush and get something for free. I can't say that's going to happen this time, but
Nothing's for free. Somebody's paying for it.
it is. And it's my opinion that I pay taxes, and I'd like to see those taxes come back to Arkham.
Well,
Yeah,
you
go
have
back to
solar, you have
Ashland's done.
solar on your house, right?
I have batteries on my house, and I'm looking at putting solar. Do have batteries when they do these power shutoffs? I have power.
Well, we haven't reached the point where the grant has been submitted and or awarded yet. And we always have the opportunity as a board, if we are successful in obtaining a grant, we always have the opportunity at that point, say yay or nay in moving forward with it. Craig right now is doing all the legwork and everything on seeing if we can even obtain this grant. And as Craig is saying, he was looking for input on how he can get further outreach than what he did previously. And with the short window that we have, I don't have any suggestions, Greg, right off the top of my head, but, that's kind of where I think we're at right now. We're not at the point where we've been awarded a grant, so it's the old cliche. It's a cart ahead of the horse or the horse ahead of the cart at this point.
Yeah, at this point, I don't see a downside to it. I don't know if it's over because it's expensive to install,
It's expensive.
but if there's 100% grant available, I say look into it.
So yeah, I'd probably attend a city council meeting. That's all right. And speak to them and ask for some more. So some input on how to reach out to community partners. And I'll also reach out to the Rogue Valley Council of Governments. And they do a lot of work with senior citizens and see if they have any suggestions on things we can do to kind of bring up the numbers there. Our engineering aspects is broken. There's a grading rubric, and our engineering aspects were great, but our social equity justice was goose eggs. And I just didn't understand that because. Okay, thank you.
I would like to hear, and then probably have to vote on whether to move forward with, but I'd like to hear if the chief has any concerns about moving forward with it.
I don't have any concerns about the solar panels themselves. My concerns would be, what do we have to do for the community? And previously I've heard like storing food here or something like that.
They're concepts. They're just concepts.
Yeah, we don't have the room for that, so
Okay.
I'd be concerned about
Yeah.
something like that.
And yeah, those weren't included. I understood. But now I'm spitballing a little bit here, but we need to help the community somehow. Are you opposed to, say if the Rogue River Pharmacy had drugs that were expiring, could we put stuff in the freezer, or is that also not?
I would be opposed to committing space here to the community.
Right.
Because we just don't have to.
It's gonna be a madhouse down here as well. If you got a 911 dispatch and there's an emergency, it's gonna be just.
Oh, you're talking about in an emergency,
In
not on a regular basis.
No, no,
In
no.
an emergency,
In an
I would do
emer-
everything we could do for the.
Yeah, no, this is only an emergency. So are you okay with if Rogue River Pharmacy needs milk?
Sure.
Yeah, we have space for it. Potentially like meat at the senior center. I know they have like 8 freezers down there that are full of meat. There's things like that. But only an
I
emergency.
think we'd have to look at what our capability is of being able to supply and what the priorities are.
Sure,
for
time
the
of year,
community,
things like that.
And have some guidelines developed.
Yeah, in
Don't we
summer.
already have all that with FEMA? Isn't that their mission to come in and set up an emergency city or whatever to support a community? I mean, we're paying FEMA
Yeah,
taxes.
I mean,
Why would we want to duplicate and try to replace what they're doing? And
well, because we're local and we can get it done.
all they
Very, very quickly.
They'd be in here with helicopters and everything else.
I think the last time FEMA was tested was in Hurricane Helene. And they didn't get
We can't do
off the ground
everything
for
for
about
the
3
entire
weeks.
world, is what I'm saying. We don't have the money. If we want to raise this triple our taxes, yeah, maybe we can do it, but and I appreciate what you're trying to do. It's a good thing, but I just think it's a duplication.
Okay, well, I will include in the grant if needed during an emergency. We've reached out to the pharmacy and see if there's any drugs, insulin, things like that need to be stored. That'd be like one freezer basically. Lock on it. And rest so we want to vote.
So when you go to these meetings at the city or with,
I haven't yet.
groups, you're gonna be speaking, representing the fire district or just as an individual?
Well, if I get your consensus with a vote, I would be speaking as the fire district within the bounds of what you authorized me to.
I have a question. You mentioned that it would hook up to the 911 system. So you're talking about it would not only power you, but it would power our police department as well?
So our 911 system is a radio-based system,
Right.
use a lot of sophisticated electronics.
They just
And-
came and talked to us recently.
And this district, this building is designated as an alternate 911 dispatch
Okay.
site. So we wouldn't be providing electricity, some physical way to get the electricity down to the actual police department, but they could work out of here, I'm sure, if they like. I thought that'd be a good thing. Absolutely, if the police need power, police need power, I'm sure you'd find a place for them, right?
Craig, just out of curiosity, being that this is the alternate location for the county EOC, have you been in touch with the county to talk to them in regards to this? And this is,
I attempted to, but I didn't get a letter of support. Mike got a letter of support from the director at EOC. But the county didn't return my calls.
I'm just wondering if this was a joint grant between the county and our fire district, if it would carry more horsepower. Being that it would be backing up the 911 system.
Reach out to them and ask them that question, how that could be structured in the farm grant. See if that'd be possible.
Then that
for
might not
Contact the county.
leave us, and if there is any position of liability, it wouldn't leave us solely in a position
You
of
know,
liability.
I think we're getting into something we might really regret getting into. I mean, it's getting out of the scope of the business for this organization, I think. But that's just my opinion. And we're gonna do everything we can do to help people anyway. Let's face it, you know. That's what the small community is all about.
So who reviews these grants? That's always been puzzling to me.
The Secretary of State.
So somebody
First it goes through that.
200 miles away looks at this prepared batch of paperwork.
Oh, who reviews the grant
Yeah,
application?
who says it?
Application.
Who knows our community?
Yeah, so there's,
Salem or whoever, or the federal grants,
So-
what, you know,
at the end of this grant, I was a little perturbed, so I actually asked for paperwork that they normally don't hand out. And I asked to see how each one of the three community members, or one of the people works for the Department of Energy. He's kind of my primary contact. And there are two other individuals, I'm not really certain, but I looked at what their grading rubric was. And yeah, it's not as clean as it should be. And I'm trying to read tea leaves a little bit there. But I asked for things that they weren't willing to give me, and I would, these are public records. You have to give them to me, so they did. So I have a good idea. I hope I didn't make them angry, but I'm ready to go back and try.
So at this point, Craig, what you're looking for is direction from the board to attend meetings to get public support for the writing of the grant.
Yes.
Just my thought. I would think that if we're gonna represent the department at a meeting, it should be the president of the board. The thought.
You know, if it's the board's direction to have Craig move forward with this, I will be attending with him then.
What I was gonna say, it could be board president or whoever the board designates. Well, I'd make a motion to move forward with it.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
code.
Thank you. Okay, we're going to be opening up a public hearing regarding ordinance number 2025-1. This is regarding the adoption of a cost-based fee and rates for response services and administrative services, and allowing for future board amendment to fees and rates by resolution. You want to just give a quick overview on that for the public, Mike?
Yeah, so this is the second hearing that is required to adopt an ordinance. This ordinance would give our board of directors authority in the future to change our fee schedule or to adopt new fees by resolution only. So this is a process we're going through that will simplify that in the future if we need to. So starting on page 4 of your board packet, that is the ordinance that establishes that authorization. If this passes, then this will be placed in record with Jackson County. And then if you continue on to page 11 of your board packet, this is our current fee schedule that is authorized by the ordinance.
Chief, can we do this by, reading the title only?
Since the ordinance was available to the public, we can do it by reading of the title.
Okay. Are there any public comments? Seeing that we don't hear any public comments, and for a motion,
I'd make a motion adopting an ordinance, adopting cost-based fees and rates for the response services and administrative service and allowing for future board amendments of fees and rates by resolution.
I second adopting ordinance 2025-0-1.
roll call vote, please.
John Foster,
Yes,
Jim Stearns.
Yes.
John Ellis.
Yes.
Randy Ford.
Yes.
Craig Barron.
Yes.
All right. Moving on to acceptance of minutes. We have the safety committee minutes.
Sorry for all the typing you had to do, Jenna.
That was it.
A long one.
on the minutes, I would just like to clarify something here. It says, basically that Randy was nominated with no knowledge that Jim wasn't aware of. We had a conversation
Yep.
and you told me several times that you did not want,
I was ready to not be
you
voted
were ready
president.
to.
Correct.
And I said, well, if that's the case, then I'll check with Randy and see if he wants to do it. He said, yeah, he'll do it. I made a motion, we all voted for it, but this makes it appear as though you were blindsided, and
I don't feel I was, John.
okay,
And I probably didn't make it clear to John, how it was, so.
Okay.
I'm good.
okay, because I was shocked because, and I don't know why I didn't comment at this, at the meeting last time. I guess I thought, man, I'm losing my mind because I remember talking with you.
Well,
Oh,
that
that's
aside.
easy. Anyway, okay, no harm, no foul, and you were aware of the fact that I was gonna nominate Randy, which I did, and I think, in fact, I think you seconded the motion.
probably,
So,
I could speak to
okay, so
that.
I don't, if that requires a correction or not, but, okay, moving right along.
Move we
You
adopt.
got a puzzle look.
No, I don't have a puzzled look, but I'm not changing my statement because that's the facts that I had at the time. So,
Well,
and these are just acceptance of the minutes. The minutes capture what occurred at the meeting. Not, not amending,
This is not accurate.
my opinion, it is.
It's not accurate.
We can agree to disagree on that.
Okay, because, well, let's move on, but that bothered me because I thought, what's going on here? We're playing games and what's starting to happen, I can see it already. The board is starting to split. We've never had this,
It's all new.
we've never had this attitude that's apparently going around. So I guess I better just get up and we'll move on with the meeting.
Input is welcome from everybody, and I don't think there's a new attitude with the board. So,
Well,
okay, so moving on to the minutes. Looking for motions.
Move we accept the safety committee and the regular session of our board of records
There's a workshop.
and the strategic plan workshop.
But you guys like to separate those out in the past, but whatever, it's up to you.
If your motion is for 03 and everybody's in concurrence, we can do all. The somebody would like to break them out separately, we can do that. There's a motion on the floor to set all three.
I'll second.
Favor?
Aye.
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 Okay, financial report.
Financial year.
On the financial report, I don't have anything to bring to the board. No major expenses that were unanticipated. We did operate within budget for the month.
Chief, I have a question on the visa statement. I see American Tire Depot for $1,020. Is that a different tire vendor we're using, or?
That's Quality Tire in Central Point, and those were tires for my rig.
Okay. It's a local.
Yeah.
Okay, just didn't recognize the name. Thank you.
How's that rig holding up?
In good shape.
That's the
Doesn't
Explorer.
have any damage, any body damage. It has about 45,000 miles on it. And I've done is put tires on it and paint it.
Barely broken in. I'm trying to wrap my brain around the revenue carry forward. So the lines I see on revenue carry forward, are those where we were at the end of last year, or are those the beginning of the end of the first month of the year? So just the end of July. End of July, okay.
Yeah.
End of June, correct? June 30.
June or July,
End
first
of
of July.
Oh, this is the end of July.
So we have so there's like 2 million in carry forward,
Yeah, there was one.
$1.9 million sitting there. And that's gonna have to get us to November 15th.
Any other questions on the financial report? Entertain a motion to approve the financial report.
I move we approve the minutes as submitted, the financial packet as submitted. Second.
Roll call vote, please.
Ron Foster,
Yes.
Jim Stern.
Yes.
John Ellis.
Yes.
Randy Fort.
Yes.
And Craig Barry.
Yes.
Okay, do we have any correspondence? No. Okay, old business. Last meeting, we made a motion for the budget officer and the clerk, and we need to address the clerk's portion of that. And also a motion for the internal control and for resolution 25-2602. We just need to clarify and have not only the chief, but we also need to nominate Jenna.
Did we not?
Position.
Did we not do that?
No, it all came on the
Oh,
team.
okay.
We need to,
I think we intended to, but it didn't sound like it on the transcript.
right.
Yeah, so for clarification, it was not clear once we listened to the video. You made me the clerk and then there's also 2 more items on here where you guys voted on it, but there were no actual motions. So this is just to clean up some things we did
Okay.
last month.
Okay. You want to just start from scratch, or
Go ahead.
do we have a, so I move that we appoint Chief Hammond, the budget officer, and Jenna, the clerk, and we approve the internal control change motion resolution 25-26-002.
I'll second that.
Do you need a roll call or do you need
Just a vote.
those in favor?
Aye.
And now we're moving on to the strategic plan and review the plan and the goals and the objectives of the strategic plan. Chief?
Okay, I'd like to refer you to page 41 of your board packet. So we held a workshop on development of the strategic plan. We currently have a 3-year strategic plan that is expiring this year. So we wanted to develop a new strategic plan moving forward for 3 years into 2028. We held a workshop where people brought goals and objectives into that workshop, and we narrowed it down to what you see on page 41 and 42. So, or at least that's what I tried to do. I tried to capture the intent of the workshop on these 2 pages. So first of all, I'd like to know, did I accurately do that? And secondly, what would you like my next step to be?
I think you adequately captured that, and I don't know what you're looking for with the next step. What do you have in there?
So I'm guessing that if we all agree that these are going to be our goals and objectives, so 5 goals and then supporting objectives, that the next step to develop the strategic plan might be to write a narrative or their.
Create a timeline perhaps. Are these in order of priority?
No,
That probably, I would think, create a priority and potential timeline.
well, it's a 3-year strategic plan, so that would be the time.
Yeah, I understand that. If there are things that you want to work on first, that are higher priorities, working on them all at once. Knowing that, board agrees.
Well, I think I don't want to go to the process of putting the timeline on every objective. I think we work on them multiple objectives at the same time, and some of them don't really have a timeline. They're just kind of an ongoing process.
Mike, I think you're correct. What you need to do next is a narrative that incorporates all of the goals. Within that narrative, you'll identify how you're going to attain your objectives, how you're going to complete them and everything. And Craig, to kind of address yours, a lot of the goals can be occurring simultaneously. So it would be difficult to put for each specific objective a time, a due date on them per se, when they can be going concurrently with one another. I think though, Chief, that could be addressed in your narrative or your strategic plans addressing each of your goals if you concur with that.
Yeah, I'm just kind of trying to remember how we've done this in the past. I thought there were like, this year or that quarter kind of thing associated with earlier strategic plan. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe those are the actual completion dates.
Well, if you're looking for a motion to approve the strategic plan as presented here, I would make that motion.
We have a motion, do we have? Okay. So in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right. Next topic is the chief's goals. These are the goals that sat down with the chief. We went over. And this was also sent out via email for everybody to have a chance to review and everything. Open for discussion on that if there is any.
This is page 43 of your board package.
So number 2, re-energize, speak this morning, the volunteer program. You have 2 potential tender operator volunteers,
I have one active
1 active.
tender driver right now and would seek out another one. Or kind of my intent is to put a message out on Facebook and if I get 4 people that are interested, maybe we have 4.
Can a board member serve as a volunteer?
No, I don't think so.
No.
I want to drive one of those.
I'd have to look at our policies. yes, board member can, unless the board has taken action to, by policy, exclude volunteers and paid personnel from board membership. And I think this district has done that
It has.
in the past, so, no.
Any comments regarding the chief's goals? Entertain a motion.
I move to approve the, fire chief goals for 25-26.
Second. Those in favor? Aye. Okay, moving on to new business. This is discussion on the local levy option. We had a workshop on it on Monday evening. Steve, I'll let you go ahead and touch base on this.
So, in our workshop, I brought to the board and public who attended, some audited numbers for the last 5 years. And with that information, I developed financial trends. And then I took those trends and applied them to the future and tried to project our financial situation moving 5 years forward, which would be the term of our new local option levy. And basically what we discovered is in the year 2027, we go to a negative balance with the current operations that we have now. So the question is, should we request an increase in the local option levy and put that request to our taxpayers? It will be on the ballot in November. Currently, our local option levy is 50 cents per thousand. And I made a recommendation to the workshop that we increase it by 30 cents. So it would be 80 cents total per thousand. If we did that, if you own a $300,000 house, that would cost $240, or the increase would be $90.
The board for discussion.
Well, I think we had a good discussion the other evening about it. I was pleasantly surprised by the community that was here, seeing to support the concept of going for 30 cents a thousand on the increase. I hope that's doable. I would make the motion to move forward with that amount.
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second. Roll call vote.
John Foster,
Yes.
Jim Stearns,
Yes.
John Ellis.
Yes.
Randy Court,
Yes.
Craig Berry.
No. Moving forward, Umpqua Bank line of credit.
So I reached out to Umpqua Bank initially to talk about a loan anticipation, a tax anticipation loan. In case we did not have enough money coming forward to carry us to November. It looks like we are going to have enough money, but in that process, what we decided to do was move forward a line of credit instead of a loan, and that money would just sit there in case we need it. We requested $200,000. I have the application from Umpqua Bank, which just needs a signature from the president of the board. I'm pretty sure this year we're not going to need that money, but we are in fire season. If we run into a major fire that we have to post, or if we have a major vehicle breakdown, that money would be there. As a line of credit, it is revolving interest rate. So it would be 1.5% over the prime rate. Right now, the prime rate is 7.5, so it would be 8.5 if we used it. So that interest rate is higher than a loan would be, but the good thing about a line of credit is you can take just the amount that you need, not the entire amount, and you take it for the time period that you want. So I think in the long run, we would save with it. So my request is that the board of directors authorize me to move forward with this and sign the.
What's the term on the line of credit? Is it open perpetuity?
Yeah, I believe so.
I'm sorry, it says it's open for what?
Is it open ever
Yeah,
continuously? or-
that was my question. It's going forever. Is this a 5-year thing or
I don't see an expiration.
is it? It,
How do you monitor something like that?
we can't take action that's binding on future boards, so I'd have to think that through.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm good with moving forward.
Can we have it expire at the end of the soonest terms?
Well, I think a future board would have the ability to say, hey, we don't want this line of credit anymore.
If they're aware of it?
Yeah,
Or we as a board can make a motion that we accept the line of credit for utilization for a set period of time.
For the next fiscal year.
So I think what we're doing right now is authorizing us to just have this in the bank. I would believe I would require future direction from the board to actually utilize the money.
it has to be paid up. We can't carry it, so it has to be paid up in November anyhow. That's fine.
Okay, so do we entertain them? Is that a motion?
Sure. Whatever I said was the motion, yeah.
Okay, you want to repeat that?
So I would make a motion that we authorize the chief to move forward with establishing a line of credit with Umpqua Bank.
Second. Roll call vote?
John Foster,
Yes.
Jim Stearns.
Yes.
John Ellis.
Yes.
Randy Court.
Yes.
And Craig Berry.
I'm concerned about the role of it down the line, so. But they only cut checks to the fire district, is that how that works? So they'll cut a check to the fire district if we need money, or it's a loan, I'm not sure how the internal controls work.
Well, they would
Do they transfer money?
deposit it into our account.
They'll transfer money into our account. And do we need to change our budget because of that? Budget.
It would, it all has to happen within the same budget year. Typically, a tax anticipation loan, you would take it out this time of year and you would pay it back in November when your revenues come in.
Yeah, it seemed like it was a little more cut and dry earlier, like you could see it the whole time.
I think you would do it by resolution. So if I came to you and said, I need $50,000 to get us to November, it would be done, authorized by resolution.
So I guess I
If that was implicit, I'd be fine
amend the
with it.
motion to include that, establish the line of credit, however, will not be utilized without a vote of the board.
Perfect. I would second that.
Okay, roll call vote on that amendment?
John Foster,
Yes.
Jim Stearns.
Yes.
John Ellis.
Yes.
Randy Court. And
Yes.
Craig Berry.
Yes.
I checked some boxes on your behalf, you might want to look at it.
Chief report?
New business, is there any? I have some new business I'm going to throw out here at the appropriate time.
We could bring that up on items that came out after the agenda.
Okay.
Okay, so we have submitted all of our documents for the audit. Thank you, Jenna, for all of your hard work. That went really well. They have given us a draft audit. There's one or two things they have to change on that. Craig, since you are the secretary of the board, you will be receiving a draft audit by email.
Thank you.
And Rick Brewster will be here either in the next meeting or the following meeting to present the audit to the board. Other than that, our ambulance remount, we do have a chassis and it's sitting in Iowa. And they pulled the box off of our old ambulance, so it's moving forward. And I suspect 4 to 6 weeks, it'll be ready. And that's all I have.
What's the status on operationally, the Horse Creek Restoration grant? I know we're involved in that as the financial arm or auditor or however that works, but is any money been spent? Do we know what's going on with that? How can
Yeah,
they give us a report?
We did spend some money, some administrative fee money. We did pick a contractor, and they are planning on starting in October. Initially, they was gonna start about April, but that puts us into bird nesting season, and they didn't want to go in there during bird nesting season, so you can expect the project to start in October. And move forward.
So I mean, the Wards Creek Restoration Group down here on the highway with the sign up, are they I'm a little confused.
They're the project manager.
They're the manager, but we're the funding arm of that, or we meter out the grant money as
The
they
grant
need
was
it.
written to us, and we have the money, and we are distributing the money
Okay,
as laid out for that.
I would like to see a pretty detailed, notes of how that money gets, spent and stuff, since it is coming through us as the fiduciary, arm. Okay, thank you, Chief.
Yeah, I've seen that. Jenna already has that prepared. I think they're gonna spend about 56 of that on the actual work.
I'd just be curious how much they spent writing the grant for the $1,300,000.
To tag on to what Randy's saying, Chief, could we see that as a line item in our monthly agendas as we're coming into them starting work and everything? It would be nice to see the expenditures as they're going through that.
It's a line item on the budget already, and you'll see it as part of the financial statement.
So it'll be on the financial, okay.
One other thing that I forgot to bring up, if we receive the $1.3 million grant, which is the Community Wildfire Defense Grant, that is federal money. And that means that we will not be able to use our current auditor.
So it gets thicker all the time, doesn't it?
Why can't we use our current auditor?
Yeah, I was afraid you was gonna ask that. It's complicated.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they told us, while he was here doing the audit. It has to do with they cannot audit that much federal money. Did I get that about right?
Limit.
That's a good question for them when they present the audit, but if that audit gets approved, we're going to have to make some difference.
Is there an alternative?
We're gonna have to find it.
Has to be somebody that does single audits.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
Single audits has to be someone that does single audits,
Single.
and they don't.
Rick could probably talk to that.
The federal grant will require an audit all by itself.
So just on the grant monies itself.
Just on the grant.
Okay. Well, I mean, I'm sure it's gonna be some money, but, that 1.3 million for Wards Creek is just amazing, to be transformative for that area, so.
Is that a cost that can be absorbed
Into the
by the
grant
grant
for the administrative fees.
We didn't write it
in the audit fees?
Well, we did write in administrative fees. I don't have that number off the top of my head, but yeah. But we
And that would be inclusive of audit fees.
I believe so. Don't hold me to that.
Did we sign on? I guess we did. Maybe I missed a meeting to have this, have them go move forward with writing that grant, requesting this grant. I mean,
Yes,
Yeah,
we did.
at some point, where does it stop? I mean, if they get awarded this grant, then they look for one that covers the whole county or the whole state. I mean, it's ridiculous, in my opinion, to get us wrapped into some of these expenditures and put burdens on our office staff and all, our accounting.
So we authorized funds for the first grant, $5,000, and they were awarded the grant and they paid us back.
And once that was done, then we authorized to move forward with the
The
second.
second one, I don't know if we gave them funds for the second one, did we?
We didn't, yes,
We transferred the funds. We got paid for the first one.
Yeah,
So it was
back.
5,000.
So we're still on it for 5,000 to get this one. They'll probably pay us back as well.
Yeah, I'd be curious
If
what
history is it, your
the
guy.
grant writer gets and stuff.
They're difficult because I know the grant that I wrote last year for the solar project was probably 120 of my hours, and it's complicated. I reached out to people to do it, and it's like $7,000. I'm sure they paid $78,000.
It's a sad way to do business grants. It's grown into this leviathan of everything has to have a grant and a grant writer and an approval. We used to raise taxes, or we would borrow money, or we would sell bonds to finance projects here. And now these grants have taken over. It's just a layer of bureaucracy that drives me nuts.
We've got about, I'm guessing, around $5 million in capacity funding time that I've been here. So that's paid firefighter salary.
Oh, sure, everybody
Let's say, great.
everybody across the nation pays in and we spend that money in one form of a grant. And then somebody else in Maine has a grant that the rest of the country pays for.
That's correct.
It's just a ridiculous way.
Yeah.
All right, let's review the monthly reports.
Assessments have gone away, it sounds like, since we filled the fire map.
It has dropped way down yet.
It's unfortunate. They provide a lot of value, I bet, to our homeowners still, regardless. What are your thoughts on providing those or letting, and I know it's a lot of work for Mike, but, and other people who did them here, but what are your thoughts on keeping that going?
Well, so, it's about reaching out and talking to the public, and we are doing that. Nikki and Jackson County Emergency Manager and some other people had a thing over at Umpqua Bank last weekend, and we gave them forms to hand out. I don't know if we got any home assessments from that. Yeah, National Night, did we get any from that? Yeah, so I don't,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
we're putting it out there as much as we know how to do.
Yeah.
And I think the people that, the people who do stuff like that have done it. So,
That could be.
And the department's been very supportive. We're starting the Firewise thing down on Fielder Lane. And they came out and did extensive surveys meeting the criteria for Firewise and everything. But just like the chief say, there has to be a desire from the public.
Yeah.
For us to be able to push it forward. And with the change in the fire mapping and everything, I think that it's not as much of a focus as it previously was, but just thank you, chief, for the staff when doing what they're doing right now.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move to public comments. Do we have any public comments at this time? Yes, sir.
I kind of a question, this fire med ambulance. Is it the policy that you could go to Medford if you desire, or do they just go to the nearest hospital?
we take you to the hospital. If you're a stable patient, we take you to the hospital of your choice. if you're an unstable patient and you meet a certain system of care, we try really, really hard to steer you toward a particular hospital that can handle your situation. Medford is included in that.
Except for deferrals, right?
And
Except for,
Deferral. They're not accepting patients.
yeah, sometimes the hospital will go on deferred and then we'll have to take you to a different location.
and I got ahead
Right.
of ourselves. We need to take a motion for accepting the monthly reports.
So moved.
Seconded.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, back to public comments. Yes, ma'am.
Chief, I pulled out my tax record from last year and I see here there's a RFPD that is, you guys, that's, what is that, Rural Fire Protection District?
Yeah.
Okay, so on that, you have an operating levy and a capital levy, both are number one. So what levy are you talking about when you're talking about raising the 30 cents?
Operation.
And just to note, I did pay $940.89, so you're talking about raising my taxes to basically $490. Is what it goes to. And I am one of those 30,000 Ks. That's why I pulled it out. Just to let you know.
I can look at you after the meeting.
That map doesn't seem,
That seems high.
it does. Yeah, you paid how much?
Well, there's three things here for RFD number one.
Okay.
284.43. RFD operating was 73.64. And RFD capital levy was 36.82 for a total of 394.89.
Well, 394. I'm sorry, I thought you said 9.
No.
394 and
And
so
then
the assessed valuation, that's the total of all those and that's at $1.68. $1.68 per thousand.
268.
And we're talking about adding 30 cents per thousand on that, so that would be about what? A fifth? 1/5 is 349. Yeah, it shouldn't go up that much.
Thank you.
Plus
Get kind of
3%.
technical.
Yeah, maybe a little more because maybe there's also a 3% in there as well. Higher.
Any other comments from the public?
Well, just one, on the strategic plan, I just want to note that the first objective and goal is opportunities to reduce cost of operations. So I think the solar panel seriously considered here. I've had solar panels for over 20 years. Electric bill, it paid itself off in about 8 years. For at least in my case, my house. I was able to have battery. So that's all I'm coming. I think it's any opportunity you have for a grant for that will reduce the cost of your operation. So good job on it.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, items that came up after agenda. Randy?
Yeah, I have one here. So I'm looking at the website a little bit closer and, in the drop down on the board of directors, there's just pictures. And I think it'd be a good opportunity for us to let the public know a little bit more about our directors, a little information about them, what their background is, how long they lived in the district, what their work is, what they do for a job. And so I'd like to maybe see us look at doing that. I just like our current board, like Mr. Foster, he's well-known in the community. He's done a lot of public things. He's done policing and other things. Jim's pretty well-known. He's been our chief. He's, been an interim chief in the valley here in several different districts. John, we don't know much about you. You've told us things in the meeting that you were a deputy this or vice that in different aspects. So let's get some information down on paper so we can kind of understand that. I get people asking me you know, who are these new people in the community and what's their history and their work
Be
history.
happy and your definition of a new person, you know, we've lived here since 2011 and
That's still
our
new.
family has been here since 1986.
Yeah.
And so it's not like I'm just a brand new person.
No, but you didn't.
But I'd be happy to do that.
You didn't raise your family and grow up here. So that's the difference between somebody new who came here and somebody who worked and built their careers and life here.
Decorum.
And the other question, Craig, back to you, is we don't know anything about what you do for a living.
I'm a chemist. I'm an analytical chemist.
I know you were involved in the drug or pot business, but I don't know what you actually do. And I get people asking me what these.
I test water, actually.
Okay,
And I'm an analytical chemist.
here's an opportunity for you.
And
to
I'm
put-
late for work.
Here's an opportunity
So
for
I
you
wish-
to put a little bit of stuff down
I
on
can pay you
paper
now.
so we can understand that people just know a little bit more about our community.
And this would, I'm all in favor of it.
See you, Craig.
We did it in the past and, I was the only one that drew up a bio to put in there. So they,
Well, I think we should do it. It'd be a good place to talk a little bit more about your history.
I'd love
your-
to highlight my
your school.
extensive schooling and volunteer experience
I
with
would-
this
I would
district
like to
as
see
well
it.
as to other districts.
I agree. I think it's
Okay.
good all the way around.
We'll be happy to do that. And
Need a motion to move forward on that or just agreement?
I think we're in agreement on it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good, positive stuff.
All right. Is there any other comments from the board? Okay, any suggestions for future items? All right, not hearing any. Motion for adjournment.
I move we adjourn.
All right, second.
Favor?
Aye.
Craig, our next meeting will be next Thursday.
Where do you want to sign on